it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the show today. I have Andrew Neufeld from the band Comeback Kid. They've got a new album.
What's good, Barney?
Hey man, I'm good. They've got a new album out on January 21st, sorry.
21st, yeah.
21st, called Heavy Steps. It's your 8th album?
Seventh studio album, but there's been some other things here and there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've got a bunch of EP, all that kind of stuff as well. So
EP live, something, yeah.
It's all good. Yeah, it's out via is it Nuclear Blast? Is the label for this one. And yeah, they invited me to come chat with you on my podcast. And
yeah.
And
in my bedroom. Hello.
Yeah, this is my garage that we're in right now. So it's really glamorous, and it was set up during.
I'm just looking at my bed right now. I'm like, does it look okay for the people? Like, should I, should I make it a little bit?
There you go.
Nice. There we go. Ladies,
There it is, everyone.
All right, this is the magic,
But yeah, no, I just wanted to. I'm a big fan of you guys. I've got into you guys on Wake the Dead, like that far back. And I was very much into my it was mainly East Coast hardcore. So sort of like Cro-Mags, Vision Disorder, Earth Crisis, stuff like that. You guys came along. I absolutely love the sound that you've got and still maintain now. This new album you've got is absolutely brilliant. But yeah, no, like I say, big fan of you guys. So it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, Andrew. And
cheers, man. Yeah, you caught it. You got the lineage perfect. You were saying Cro-Mags and then some of the Victory stuff, and I would say we're the younger brother generation to me of some of the early, like the Earth Crisis, the Strife, the Snap. That was when I was in high school. The Snapcase, the California Takeover, and then Comeback Kid would have come a few years later than that.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think that's about. I was in equivalent of high school when I was getting into those bands. So
yeah,
you've got to be
definitely.
Age. It's quite nice. Normally,
got the Victory Records long sleeve or like a Fat Records, or it was either Fat, Epitaph, Victory, and those were the big powerhouse labels, and then all the the smaller ones.
Yeah, and occasionally occasionally Roadrunner picked up a couple back when they were
like Vision of Disorder, like you're saying. Yeah.
So it's a hell of a sound that I've really continued to enjoy. I think is the correct term on that front, not to sort of throw an age on it, but it's you've certainly got that kind of big bass sound. I think it is. There's this groove to the bass that no other sort of like genre kind of has in entirety, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like a heaviness to it.
Yeah, we always try. I mean, we're as much of a influence as we get from like traditional hardcore and punk, and straight up quote unquote music. We definitely want to have. We're really keen on the modern production, and not in the way of cutting and editing songs together as playing. I love the sound of something really, really being played, and getting full takes in the studio and hearing those full takes, but also just the bigness of modern production. We always try to like push it with that, and so we had Will Putney mix it out in New York. We recorded here in Canada. And that he had a lot to do with that, and we reamped the guitars just to make sure that they were as heavy as could be, and just dialed in the drum tones and the bass tones just to kind of give it that, we just wanted it to be banging, so.
No, it definitely is. It was one of those moments where the good people at Nuclear Blast were like, we've got you guys basically for an interview if I want it, and they've sent me a couple of singles already, like No Easy Way Out, Crossed. I think it was Heavy. The title track, Heavy Steps, is just
Heavy Steps. Yeah. Did you hear the record yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Sick.
Sent me the whole thing, and I love like Shadow of Doubt. That's a great track off the album.
Thanks, man.
And yeah, just it was just one of those moments where I was just sort of taken back, because like I said, I've been following you guys for so long, and then you guys just sort of come out with this. And like, it's the first time in a fair few years. And
Yeah, it's you'll get a comeback in record once every 3 to 4 years at this rate. It's kind of it's been the steady stream.
yeah, no,
So.
I think I was saying before we hit record, but it was a long time coming with this album. How long have you been sat on it for? Was it like obviously due to all the shit that's going on around the world?
I
But
mean, it feels like I've had this record in the bag for a minute, but we started recording it straight up, starting recording it 1 year ago, so last February, and we probably had it in the bag by the summer, and the first single came out I think in September. So we've been kind of doing that slow long, you know, one single a month with a video, and we kind of needed it after the recording part of it and the mixing, which takes a long time, is nowadays, you know, when you're in a band, you got to go do visuals with almost everything. So that's something that we're not as familiar doing, you know, all the time. So it took a lot of work, like in this last half a year, to kind of accomplish all the visuals as well. We'll have a fourth video coming out with the album on the 21st of January, and that'll be more of a live video showcasing the last, you know, like 5-6 months of shows that we've had until we got stopped in our tracks just recently. But the videos before that were kind of, you know, outside of our wheelhouse, and we were trying to get creative and work with a bunch of different people. So just takes a long time. You got the record's been done, and then now you got to do the visuals and just the whole lead up. And you know, a lot of it too comes down to when how long it takes for the vinyl to get made. And we wanted vinyl to be ready for this tour that's supposed to be next week. Obviously now the tour is canceled because of Omicron. But yeah, we were just kind of like originally holding out to release it so that vinyl could be ready. The vinyl took I think 7-8 months, but then on the flip side of that, also we needed the time to get everything ready for the socials and the video and, you know, all that shit.
yeah, how have you like found that? Because we're similar ages. I was in a band in the early sort of 2000s as well, and sort of it was on the cusp of the MP3 revolution, I suppose is the term.
Mm-hmm.
How have you, like, because obviously like you're saying, you're struggling with the sort of visual aspect of what you have to do these days. What in obviously music videos are always something that bands have kind of always done, you know, and there's obviously lyric videos now and visualizers, I think they call it. But have you had any like sort of, because I don't know what your social media presence personally is like or anything like that, but is it something that you're encouraged to use more and provide more content for these days? Or is it something that you
Yeah, it's kind of, I find now it's kind of the way that a band is expected to connect with their audience for anything. You know, back in the day when we were coming up, yes, and they do this now. Yes, the label will put out a press release and stuff like that. But back in the day, you know, the label would put out a press release, then we'd find out about it on, you know, Lamb Goat or Kerrang, or, you know, one of some metal site. Now, really, you're looking like, if like I canceled our European tour the other day just because, just to not to go into it, but just it can't happen.
Yeah.
And I canceled it just right on our Instagram. I don't think anything else. I could post it on Facebook too, but I feel like Instagram's kind of my way to connect any dots and make anyone aware of anything that's going on. You know, some people are gonna follow the label, but the average Joe that listens to Comeback Kid, they're gonna find out about anything just from my phone.
Yeah. No, that's
You
what I
know.
asked you what your preferred sort of platform was, because I run social media for a radio station as well, and I've sort of ventured into all these ever since, like, I go back like MySpace, like that was the sort of first big platform, especially
Mm-hmm.
for artists. Um, and I've sort of like adopted all these like new ones on the way. And I was just curious, like how, because I didn't continue within being a musician on that front, and I'm not had to. I obviously I use socials for this and stuff, but being a band, I see so many different approaches for it, and I was, curious as to what your preferred platform was. Obviously, you probably said it with Instagram, but
yeah, it's Instagram, but I still like, especially at the end of like, you know, when you're putting out a single every month, you kind of get a little bit of that social fatigue and the fuck, like it's a lot going on there. But I'm looking forward to just, that's why, like, going on tour, even though there's a lot of stuff to still set up, like going on tour was such a blessing in the last 5 months, just because it's funny when you're in a band and then all I'm looking forward to is being in the band and flexing the music side of my head, sometimes just, putting out a record, it's almost like it takes up so much of it, of your energy and your like bandwidth, that it's hard to even, I'm looking forward to getting back into just doing music. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, that's what I kind of fit that, because I speak to obviously a few bands on this, some young, some more established, or been around for a while, and it's just one of those things that I'm finding. Obviously some of the bands are born into it. It's what they know. They know they need to.
Socials.
Yeah, they need to provide content to keep people engaged. But whereas people like you and me, we kind of have. We want to be out there. We want to have that actual interaction.
Oh, dude, give me some tape and a poster already. I'll go on the poll.
Nothing wrong with some, what they call it, guerrilla advertising, I think they call it.
I remember the days when I was younger, dude, going to the Kinkos and slicing the handbills out and being right outside the show. Like, I love that shit.
I used to street team for various companies, so giving out flyers, tapes, CDs at shows, like a free ticket to the show, but I'd be in the queue, like handing out flyers for like Mudvayne and 1 Minute Silence, all that lot.
There's two funny things that I think Comeback Kid kind of broke through with. One is on social media side and one's on the physical side. The social media site that I think we first used, and it was before Facebook, Friendster, all that. It was called Makeout Club, and it was like it has a funny name, but like it was for like the hardcore community, younger, like early 20s, late teens. That was a way that a lot of people were connecting, and it was maybe a little bit like dating and stuff too, but there's also just like social media. And so Comeback Kids demo circulated through this site quite a bit. And then what really broke it when we started with the Victory Days was a sampler CD, a 2005 Victory Record sampler, and it was us and some bands that don't really sound like us too much. I mean, it was like us, Bury Your Dead, and like maybe even Hawthorne Heights and stuff like that. But I think Wake the Dead was the first song on that, and it just, or maybe the second song, but that definitely caused a stir, like a sampler CD.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember that, and the cover CDs for magazines as well. That was another
big yeah.
But I think I've actually got that sampler CD, that Victory sampler CD somewhere.
Nice. Victory Style? Was it called Victory Style, or was that post?
Remember?
Who cares?
I DJ nightclubs and I DJ rock clubs, and I used to specialize in doing like a hardcore hour.
Oh, which one? Which nightclub?
It's called Schism. Is the club that I do.
In what city?
It was in Woking in Surrey, near London. Then I did one in Guildford as well, called the Loft.
Cool. I mean, I've been to Guildford for sure.
Yeah, I think you might have played at one of the venues there.
I'm not sure if I've been to the Loft, but
yeah. But yeah, I do like a hardcore hour at the start, so I'd have all the hardcore kids in there doing all their karate moves.
And they would mosh while you're DJing.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, this is a thing that North Americans are like don't see very often. No. Well, maybe now with like the emo nights that they do, I think that's kind of been incorporated into it. But just in the UK and Europe, like kids like moshing to the DJ. I think it's kind of awesome.
It's a great feeling, trust me. But yeah, no, I lived in the States for a bit, and yeah, the concept of a rock club does not compute with anyone. They had the kind
But
of,
again, maybe now with some of these emo nights that are quite popular,
I think it was sort of probably hitting the right trend that's coming in. But like there was a lot like goth and industrial, sort of EBM stuff like that. But I tried to, because I was in Florida, and I tried to sort of book a few nights just to see if it would work, but no one would really want to take me up on it. So
right, yeah,
fair enough in the end. But I moved back to England, and my DJ residency came back to me, so everything worked out.
nice.
So, but yeah, no, I've like, how's Canada been? Like, obviously, you said your stuff's just been cancelled and stuff, but I've spoken to a few bands within that country, various parts of it. I think Belvedere, you might know, and Sumo Psycho, a couple of other sort of smaller independent.
Yeah, we toured South America with Belvedere and Pennywise, actually.
Yeah. But obviously I see their social updates and stuff like that. But how's this whole world pandemic thingy been for you guys up there?
Well, it's funny you say Belvedere, because I actually was at a Furnace Fest or Slam Dunk Festival. I was either in the UK or Alabama for these crazy festivals, and then I came back to Canada. Like, I flew back that day, and I actually went downtown Toronto, and there was a show going on. It was Belvedere. Oh, wow. And it was all so I just come from both Slam Dunk and Furnace Fest were both like just like normal, everything open. And I come back to Canada, and it was a seated show, and people had to sit like separated from each other. And Belvedere, they were good sports about it. They played the show there, but that was in the summer of 2021. And right up until last month, Canada was like full on shows, full venues, everything. And we were out in the States last month, and then Omicron hit. Everything shut down in Canada. We got stuck in the States over the holidays with COVID. And I just got back like, a week and a half ago. So it's just been, now everything's kind of shut. We've canceled our European and UK stuff for this next month, but then our next thing on the books is the start of a couple Canadian runs in March. Yeah. And so March 22, we're just hoping like that it can happen. But what we have to do is just get contingency dates, if just in case if it isn't able to happen. So, at least it's, I don't know. I mean, the States still has shows going on, but it seems like everyone's kind of taking a breather for a minute. And we just gotta once again rebook stuff, so.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It's a loaded question that I just asked you anyway, but I was just curious, like, just to sort of see how, obviously being a band.
It's different in every like province of Canada. Like, we did play one normal festival in Quebec, and then we came back a month later and we played this baseball field where we were like on a stage. It was like us and Despised Icon and some other bands, and then the crowd was on the baseball stands, and so there was probably like 60 meters of space in between us. But I like did the whole, I got the wireless mic and ran out to the crowd and like, I actually even went in the crowd and moshed with them for a bit, but
that's all right.
It worked. It was like, I'm up for like a unique experience. I've done a lot of the same types of shows.
That was gonna be my next question. What was it like doing these shows, from being kind of a band that would, I assume, thrive on that sweatbox type situation with the venues where you've got the crowd kind of like there in front of you in the stage, just going at it, diving into the crowd, whatever. And then going into, like you say, being a seated show, because my first experience with a seated show was really strange. I was on vacation in Orlando many years ago, and Alice Cooper was playing at Hard Rock, and I was like,
nice.
Me and my wife were going, right, we're gonna go, and we're gonna, but it was all seated. So we're like, okay, it's just sit. You know, we didn't think it would be. We thought it was going to be up the back, sort of seated, not down. And then being sat down watching Alice Cooper, it was really weird. Like, because you
Yeah.
can't have that. We've never really had the sit down show. It's not really been a thing as such, unless you're going to see a theatre.
But you stand up anyways and kind of just like rock out a little bit. We actually didn't really play that like baseball field show, but people were still like up in their you know, in the stands and kind of getting up there. We played a show in a small town of Quebec the night before that, and it was supposed to be a seated show, and like after one song it wasn't, and then no one did anything, so we didn't really have to deal with it too much.
Oh, that's all right then. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, I mean, this record. Let's get back to that. Like I said, I've really enjoyed it. Like the singles that have sort of come out so far that people can hear before it's released. In 9 days. Exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, some fantastic tracks on there. The ones obviously released, we've already mentioned, and I said Shadow of Doubt is another track that like I said I really like on there.
Hell yeah. I just did a really cool hoodie for that track actually, with this like cartoon guy and a big shadow over top. So I'm pretty stoked.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing that. I'll see if I can grab one. But you've got a couple of guests on there as well on the album.
We do.
Are they public knowledge? I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So on the song that's come out already called Crossed.
Yeah.
Joe Duplantier from Gojira is on it, and that's the main feature on the record. You know, we got Josh from Malevolence to do a couple little licks because we're more hardcore guitar players, maybe can't really do we couldn't do a dive bomb or a little solo on one part, you know. We can now, like after, but he kind of brought it to life. And got our friend JJ, not so much to do a feature on this song called Everything Relates, but he just kind of reintroduces a chorus with me as a support, as the song has a part that deals with a friend of ours that passed away, so I just wanted to include him there. Yeah. So yeah, that's those are the three main guests on it. And
what's the sort of premise of the album? Obviously it's called Heavy Steps. You just mentioned obviously just there was
yeah, really it's just about the fragility of life, really, and just kind of like going through, like pummeling through life kind of with blinders on, and just not knowing how quick that the floor could fall from under our feet in general, and just kind of that kind of mentality of like just like do or die, like come test me, you know, like it's a bit of a fearless title, but also maybe resonates a little bit of like caution to the wind, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Like I said, I got that kind of vibe from it, and obviously straight from the album title, it kind of, you know, it's like it says it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I say, it's an absolutely solid album. And I hope it like does really well for you guys and all that kind of stuff. And we obviously back touring. That would be great once. Well, if we can.
We had a good 5-6 months, and it'll happen again. We'll just have to kind of watch, you know.
Yeah, see how obviously it comes across Europe and stuff like that, and the UK.
Exactly.
And see where that brings you. But yeah, no, I'll definitely be there for.
I've tried to rebook. I've tried to rebook a few things already this morning, and we'll be back in Europe for some festivals this summer, and hopefully a headline tour in the UK again. You know, at the end of sometime this year, I think it'll happen. So.
Excellent. Well, I've got a couple of questions left for you, if that's all right, and I can let you get on.
Yeah, sure.
Today. So these are my sort of like, if you've said anything on my typical enders on this one, but the main question is, what I want to get from you is your 3 albums that are the most that hit you at the most pinnacle time. So not so much like most influential album ever or anything like that, but the ones that like made you want to be in a band, made you want to play guitar, made you want to sing, and like those pivotal moments, if they're obviously ones from the past, if there's any recently as well, but if you could name 3 Um, awesome.
Yeah. I would say Propagandy, Less Talk More Rock. Propagandy is a band from Winnipeg, who we really looked up to growing up. It was a kind of I would say somewhat of a predecessor to Comeback Kid. And not even Less Talk More Rock, but they did a split with this band called I Spy, which is a little bit pre that. Some of the same songs. But yeah, that was definitely there for me in my formative years. Switching over to hardcore, I mean, I'll never forget the first time that I heard Satisfaction is the Death of Desire by Hatebreed. That kind of set the tone for like what a heavy to the point record should be like. And just on also I guess on the these are some formative records. I'm not kind of digging too deep on stuff that I'm listening to currently, but formative, Chain of Strength, the one thing that still holds true, kind of gave me some of that, taught me that hardcore that didn't have to be about just being all like heavy music, but emotion and sensibility, and being able to pull back at different times with the melody in hardcore, but still kind of being a more traditional hardcore sound, So those would be some formative records. I'm going a little metallic with the Hatebreed, and more punk with the Propagandy, and then Chain of Strength in the middle, and that kind of gives you some of the basis of what Comeback Kid's about. Not all of it, but like a couple of ingredients.
No, that's really cool. I actually have Propagandy written down, because I was gonna because obviously you're Winnipeg, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're in that.
Well, I'm in Toronto now, but we're from Winnipeg. Yeah.
And I was just curious if they were an influence on you, but as it turns out, yes.
Totally.
Is they're another band that that I've got CDs of somewhere. If I could find my proper CD collection, I'd be able to dig that out. But these are all bands from my youth as well. So I used to just import
totally
from
I could name so many more though, Yeah. That was on the cuff.
Good. I like that. And Hatebreed, fantastic band. Again, like you say, sort of they bring a metallic edge to that kind of straight up hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the last bands on my list to like check off. Like we toured with some of our favorite bands, a lot of my favorite bands, and just haven't done the Hatebreed tour yet. So let Jamie know next time you talk to him, if you ever have him on the podcast.
I'll try and get him on. He's got his own podcast, so I don't know.
Yeah, do a joint.
Yeah, do a crossover. That'd be good. But finally, Andrew, what are your hobbies away from music? So when you're not writing, performing for Comeback Kid, what do you kind of do to kind of unwind? What is
honestly, dude, this band thing, this music thing takes up a lot of my energy and a lot of my time, and even because there's so many facets of it. I mean, doing the band business, like we're managing the band, and we're booking tours, we're planning, you do the press, you make the videos, and then almost like it, then at that point it feels like the music is the hobby again. It's like, oh wow, I can flex like my music muscle in my brain to do that. So I don't really have too many other hobbies. I mean, I've been smoking a joint throughout this interview. I mean, drinking and smoking, I don't know, it's not the best things to do, but when I'm not doing the band, I'm honestly just like trying to catch up with friends, and just trying to connect with the people that I love, really.
No, that's very cool. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you are like, so you're self-managed, if you will, and you're doing everything, then yeah, the music, that's the great like thing. Because I had the same thing with my old band. We were self-contained, but I ended up doing the management and the press and the bookings, and that was like the business bit, and it was like that, and then the music was the hobby. So that
so it's definitely, and like, so once I'm able to get back in the room and do the music stuff, because it always goes in waves. Like, I'll do heavy music for like a month, and then I'll just take a break. but when I get the chance to do that again, it's definitely different, and I'm able to mix my days up, and or just like my periods of time up, between the music business and the music, the band, like the actual doing it. So, and then there's the touring aspect and the traveling aspect, which is huge as well. And, you know, just kept learning so much about the world from just being placed in different places.
That's the one bit I miss the most, is that
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not a structured holiday, where it's structured, but it's not a holiday, but you get to, like you say, you get put in these situations where you get to experience various parts of the world, like obviously your own country.
Yeah.
Well, but you know, going, like for myself, it was sort of UK and Europe, so each country was very different. Each town we played, very different style, very different people, but you know, you were there for the same reason. It's all music, and it just joins these people together.
Totally.
These people you don't know, but they know you.
Yeah, man. Learning so much about other cultures over the last, doing all these shows.
Well, Andrew, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Our second attempt at doing this.
Hell yeah. And now I got to talk to someone else and say I was 10 minutes late. Let's see if they're still on the Zoom or if they've bounced away.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you very much. Good luck with the album, and I'll let your people know when this goes out and everything.
Appreciate you, Barney. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Andrew. Have a good one, mate.
Later.
Bye-bye.